Welcome to the video. First, I'll set the stage for why many UK citizens default to familiar destinations, and why that can be a mistake. Next, we will challenge the assumption that comfort equals a better life abroad. Finally, I'll explain the structure of the video and preview the key takeaways. Before we proceed, here is a brief disclaimer. This content is informational and not professional advice. Immigration, tax, and healthcare rules change often and vary based on personal circumstances. You must verify information with official government resources, consult qualified advisors, and make decisions based on your situation. With that said, let's move forward. Here is our agenda. First, we will examine the familiar destinations and their hidden trade-offs. Next, we will compare the Anglosphere with less obvious options. Then, we will outline due diligence pillars, showcase alternative destinations, walk through a decision flowchart, give you an action checklist, and finally test your understanding with quick quizzes. To begin, let's set a core theme. Many people move for a better life, lower costs, improved lifestyle, or new opportunities. However, defaulting to destinations that feel comfortable often leads to the same costs and similar culture, which may not deliver the transformation you want. With that lens, let's dissect the usual choices. Let's break down the so-called easy destinations. Ireland is administratively straightforward due to the common travel area and cultural overlap, which reduces friction. However, housing constraints and high living costs in cities can mirror the UK. Australia is approachable through working holiday visas, especially for younger people. But moving from temporary to permanent status often requires in-demand skills and persistence. Canada is welcoming and culturally familiar, but large cities can be expensive, and job markets competitive. In each case, convenience does not necessarily equal long-term opportunity or a lower cost of living. Now let's contrast comfort with opportunity. Here's the comparison. Staying within the Anglosphere offers an easier language fit, cultural familiarity, and predictable systems. But it often comes with high living costs and intense competition for visas. Looking beyond can unlock stronger purchasing power, unique lifestyle benefits, and growing market opportunities, though it may involve language learning and adapting to distinct tax and healthcare systems. The point is to prioritize outcomes over convenience. Next, we will discuss how to evaluate destinations thoroughly. This section outlines the due diligence pillars and shows a flowchart. First, define your goals. Then decide if your primary aim is lower costs, a career leap, or lifestyle change. Next, narrow options by tax treatment and visa filters, including residency triggers, double tax agreements, and any special expat regimes. Meanwhile, understand healthcare access, whether public options exist, and whether private coverage is needed. After that, shortlist 3 candidate countries and run a 12-month budget simulation, including rent, utilities, transport, and insurance. Finally, apply to 1 or 2 programs rather than spreading effort too thin. Now let's see a snapshot of alternative destinations to spark your research. This table is a starting point, not an endorsement. First, review relative cost levels from low to high. Next, consider the types of visa pathways typically available, such as skilled worker, entrepreneur, or remote worker options. Then, look at language realities. English may be common in some industries, but integration benefits from learning the local language. Additionally, each destination offers notable upsides, from climate to digital infrastructure, alongside watchouts like policy changes, housing constraints, or administrative complexity. Always verify the latest rules and calculate your personal budget and tax exposure. This mind map organizes the decision space. At the center are UK mover goals. One branch explores lower cost outcomes, mapping to regions with lower cost of living and viable visa categories. Another branch focuses on a career leap, linking to shortage occupation lists and language requirements. A lifestyle branch weighs climate, culture, and time zone alignment. A tax and healthcare branch covers treaties, residency day counts, and access to public versus private healthcare. Finally, a risk branch considers policy stability and the importance of a backup plan. Use this structure to refine your shortlist. Here's a practical checklist. First, define your core aim, such as lowering costs, advancing your career, or changing lifestyle. Next, create a long list and score each country on cost, opportunity, and lifestyle. Then, check eligibility and processing times on official government sites. After that, build a conservative 12-month budget including rent and insurance. Meanwhile, map out tax residency triggers, relevant treaties, and your likely effective tax rate. Additionally, validate your assumptions by speaking with recruiters and expats in your sector. Finally, choose 1 or 2 targets and begin gathering documents and submitting applications. This is a sample 6-month plan. First, spend the initial weeks defining goals and building your long list. Next, validate by talking to expats and recruiters and simulating taxes and budgets. Then, prepare by collecting documents and starting a short, focused language course. Finally, execute by submitting visa applications and booking flights and housing. Build in buffer time for document legalization and translations. Adjust the schedule based on the specific visa and hiring timelines. Quiz time. The question is, which factor is most often confused with financial feasibility when choosing a destination? The options are linguistic ease, visa processing time, climate, and public transport quality. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is linguistic ease. Comfort in the local language does not necessarily correlate with lower costs, favorable tax exposure, or easier long-term pathways. It is useful, but it is not the same as financial feasibility. Here's the second quiz. What should you prioritize when selecting a country to move to? The options are the easiest short-term visa, perfect weather, alignment with your financial goals and skills demand, and the most familiar cuisine. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is alignment with your financial goals and skills demand. Prioritizing destinations that match your career profile and improve your purchasing power creates the best chance of long-term satisfaction and stability. Let's consolidate our key takeaways. First, comfort can be costly, and ease should not be confused with value. Second, conduct rigorous due diligence on taxes, healthcare, skills, demand, and budgets. Third, build a focused shortlist and apply to a small number of strong fits. Fourth, remember that language can be learned, while opportunity may be concentrated in non-English markets. Finally, your best destination is where your skills are needed and your money goes further. In summary, the familiar path is not always the smartest one. If your goals include affordability and new opportunities, looking beyond the Anglosphere may produce better results. Use a structured framework to evaluate taxes, healthcare, skills, demand, and budgets. Proceed methodically, research, validate, and then apply. Now let's close with a quick thank you and a call to action. Thanks for watching. If you found this valuable, please like the video, share it with someone considering a move, and subscribe for more evidence-based relocation strategies. In the comments, share where you would go next and why. Your insights may help others make better decisions.